Hey everyone, welcome to daily update number 2 for Swift Intents. I'm Connor. In these videos, we're going to be walking you through day by day how Stephen and I are building a $1 million business in public, sharing everything we learn along the way, and keeping you up to date. So today I want to go over a few things that Steve and I have been talking about a lot and are focusing on at the current moment as far as building our business and what our kind of tactics are for growth in our early stages. The things I want to be covering today are ASO, school, and marketing. And so let's start with ASO. So a big part of obviously growing your apps is marketing them and getting eyeballs on your app store page, letting people know what your app is, what problem it solves, making people feel, compelled to download these apps. So that you have users and, revenue. So ASO is something that is newer to me, but talking with other developers that have done ASO successfully, one thing I learned that I didn't realize, I guess, is that you can have a lot of success just focusing on ASO for your apps. You don't necessarily have to do the TikTok marketing and the Reddit marketing and all this kind of stuff. That if you can kind of nail ASO, you can have pretty reasonable growth inside your app. So because of that, I got Astro. Now I'm exploring different keyword ideas and stuff for Sparka and for 8IQ, exploring some of our competitors and stuff to try and get a better understanding of how ASO works and how to optimize for that. With Sparka, we have a little bit of a unique challenge because a lot of our concepts for the app are keywords that aren't necessarily really popular. At least right now, these are keywords I kind of believe will be popular, in the future as AI is more widely adopted. But I think we're kind of at this weird part of the cycle where, AI hype and then, it's kind of fizzled out a little bit. I think for the vast majority of people, or they just haven't quite caught on yet to understanding the need for AI. And so this is the unique challenge that we have with Sparka is, some of the more successful and popular keywords are really difficult ones because we're competing with, all the ChatGPT wrappers out there that function fundamentally differently from how Sparka does, at least in its current state. And so we're doing a little bit of thinking to see, is there ways to pivot Sparka a little bit? I mean, the app's only been live for a couple of weeks, so we don't want to do any major pivots or just dump more features into it without having a real market-validated idea here. And very similar to 8IQ, it's doing pretty decent, and that is one of our main sources of revenue at the moment. And it's, kind of a proven method. A little bit different strategy from Sparka, where 8IQ is a proven method of calorie tracking and having AI be at the core of that, making nutrition tracking easy. And so we're going to be exploring different keywords for Sparka and different kind of strategies, because I think Sparka solves a really real problem, but I think our approach in it maybe needs some adjustments there, and kind of how we're thinking about this. But like I said, it's still early, so we've got lots to explore on that front. And then going to school a little bit. So that's where our community is hosted. On school, I'm a really big fan of this platform, the Schoolers community that you get to be a part of. If you have a community on school, is really awesome. They're regularly updating their platform and keeping things, up to speed, and it's advancing really fast. And so for Swift Intents Pro, currently, if you join, you get our idea to app in 14 days roadmap, where we literally walk you through coming up with an idea, validating that idea from market research, building that idea, integrating AI into your app, and then having it submitted to the App Store and available on test flight by day 14. And the app is going to be set up with a paywall, AI features, solves your core problem. You have clear marketing positioning with your app, and you have a validated idea, so that as soon as you're approved for the App Store, you're ready to start making money. This is just the core concept the first level concept of what we want inside this community. As you can see here, we've got some ideas for building this out further, where when you're part of Swift Intents, you can have this full-on roadmap to basically different revenue milestones for your app and eventually becoming a full-time indie developer with an AI focused workflow throughout the entire thing, so that you're learning, the most up-to-date ways of using AI in this workflow and in high leverage kind of ways. Mastering Cloud Code is just an idea that we had, different workflows and things like that. And because we're testing all these tools, and so the idea here is that you don't have to test all of them and switch your subscription every week and things like that. We just tell you what we feel is the best approach to keep things simple for you, and so you can move and ship faster and become an indie developer quicker. That's kind of what we're focused on here with Skool. We're really excited about this. I'm having a lot of fun building this community out, building out our content, interacting with the few members that we have in already, and we're excited to see kind of where it goes from there. Our strategy to grow this community leans heavily on YouTube, and so just kind of following a template that works. We're building out a roadmap for YouTube videos and content and things like that, so that we have a bunch of value to share with our audience about the things that we're talking about inside this community, and then you can just enjoy those, or you can be a part of the community and have the full shipping roadmap, the kind of exclusive access to things that we have inside that community to help you be a successful indie developer, or even just level up your AI skills as an iOS developer, so you're kind of ahead of the curve in the workspace and in finding jobs and things like that. So there's a whole possibility of things that we can be doing there. And then marketing. So at our current stage in our business, we've got our products out. Our community is live, our apps are live and in the App Store. They're ready for iOS 26. We're kind of up to date on these things. And so now the real trick is the marketing aspect of them. These ideas have, potential. Do they have growth potential? Or is there demand for these kinds of things? And how do we position ourselves so that these things are appealing to users and members of the community and things like that? That's what we're going to be focusing a lot next. And our current strategy is relying heavily on ASO and content. So basically the high level of it is just being consistent with the content, showing up every day, kind of establishing our brand and our voice and our authority in this space, and then kind of being able to have an audience to leverage from there once we've grown a little bit more. Currently we're, let's check this out. So currently I'm going to show you my analytics premium. Let's see. At least for my account, I'm at 166 verified followers at about almost 850. Impressions are doing good. I had a couple posts in the past few days that are doing okay. So I'm gonna basically take what I'm learning from this and apply it to all of our different channels and strategies and things. And Steven's doing the same thing with his account as we build this unified brand under Swift Intents. And so it's just a lot of learning at the moment, and then just focusing on what we're seeing working, and then just the core concept of this is showing up every day and collecting basically enough data to make informed decisions off of, so we can adjust for what's working and what's not. And that's basically where we're at the moment. The next thing I wanted to talk about just real quickly is the new GPT-5 Codex model came out yesterday, and I did play around with it for a little bit, trying to just kind of check that out and see what it could do. And this is a one-shot app for the most part that I had it whip up. So I didn't give it any UI instruction. I just kind of gave it the idea of the app, and it's like a workout tracker. And I was just kind of go crazy. And so obviously readability issues and stuff here, which I think is pretty typical for most AI models. They just don't think about readability. They just kind of find something that works for this +1 and then apply it to the rest. So I didn't make any refinements here. This is just kind of what it came up with. And you can't even really see that progress bar. But what I was impressed with here is that there was only like 2 errors, compile errors, when I ran this, and then I was just basically like, hey, fix these errors, and it did, and now I have a working app. And so I can kind of go and add these reps and stuff, and this is just like a fitness challenge kind of idea, and then you can kind of make some custom things here, and then the rest of the screens were just like coming soon. Because AI works really well when it has very focused tasks, so that's kind of, I think, where this model fell short is really just in my prompting ability, or like my prompting effort in this one, where I didn't do a high level of prompting. I just basically gave an idea and said, build it. But if I had done this screen by screen and been a lot more focused, I think the results would have been a lot better. So I'll be testing that more in the coming days and kind of updating you on my experience with it and how it's doing. But so far, I'm impressed, and I think Codex is really great, and you get a lot more for your dollar than you do with Claude currently. Like, I'm on the $20 a month plan for ChatGPT, and I haven't run into usage limits really yet. I'm using it about 1 to 3 hours a day, roughly. So it's been really, really nice. So that is it for today's update. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.